My dad died when I was 15. Heart attack at 42, completely unexpected. One day, he was teaching me how to change a tire. The next day, he was gone. Dad had been saving for my college since I was born. Every birthday, every Christmas, every good report card, money went into Tommy's college fund. He used to joke that I'd better get into a good school because he was investing everything in my future. After the funeral, my Uncle Rick stepped up as my guardian. He was Dad's older brother, a successful businessman who owned 3 auto dealerships in town. Everyone said I was lucky to have him. "Don't worry about anything, Tommy," he told me at the cemetery. "Your dad made sure you be taken care of. That college fund is safe with me." I trusted him completely. Rick had always been the responsible one in the family. While Dad worked as a mechanic, Rick built a business empire. He drove expensive cars, lived in a mansion, and always had the best of everything. For 3 years, Rick took care of everything. He made sure I had what I needed, helped with homework when he could, and always talked about my bright future in college. "Your dad saved $180,000 for your education," he told me on my 18th birthday. "That's enough for any school you want." I was excited. I've been accepted to State University with a partial scholarship. Between Dad's college fund and my academic scholarship, I graduate debt-free. That's when Rick dropped the bomb. "I have some bad news, kiddo. The college fund, it's gone." My world stopped. "What do you mean, gone?" "I invested it to try to grow it for you. Tech stocks, mutual funds, some startup companies. The market crashed. Bad timing." "I'm so sorry." I stared at him in shock. "All of it. All of it. I lost everything trying to make it bigger for you." He seemed genuinely upset, showing me paperwork about failed investments and market downturns. The documents looked official. The losses seemed real. "I'll help you apply for student loans," he said. "It's not the end of the world. Lots of kids pay their own way through college." So that's what I did. I took out $120,000 in student loans to pay for college. I worked 3 part-time jobs while studying engineering. I ate ramen noodles for 4 years and lived in the cheapest dorm rooms available. Rick helped where he could, sending me $200 here and there for textbooks or groceries. I was grateful for his support, even though I sometimes wondered how someone so successful at business could have lost my entire college fund. After graduation, I got a good job as a civil engineer. I moved back to town and started paying off my massive student debt. Rick was proud of me, always bragging to his friends about his nephew, the engineer. Everything changed last month when Mom asked me to clean out Dad's old office. "I can't bear to go through his things," she said. "But it's been 8 years. It's time." Dad's office was in the basement of our old house. Mom had left everything exactly as it was the day he died. His coffee mug still sat on the desk. His reading glasses were folded on top of a car repair manual. I spent hours going through his papers, separating important documents from old receipts and magazine clippings. Most of it was routine stuff: insurance papers, tax returns, warranty information for appliances we'd replaced years ago. Then I found something strange. Hidden behind Dad's filing cabinet, taped to the wall, was a small envelope marked for Tommy, in case something happens to me. Inside was a safety deposit box key and a note in Dad's handwriting. "Tommy, if you're reading this, something happened to me. The college fund is not with Rick. I never trusted him with money. Go to First National Bank, Box 347. Everything you need is inside. Don't let anyone else know about this until you've seen what's there. Love, Dad." My hand was shaking as I read the note. Dad hadn't trusted Rick with the money. Then there was my college fund. The next morning, I went to First National Bank with the key and Dad's death certificate. The bank manager led me to the safety deposit box area. Box 347 was larger than I expected. Inside, I found Asterisk bank statements showing a college fund account with $180,000, exactly what Rick had claimed. Asterisk, but the statements showed the money was never withdrawn for investments. Asterisk instead, there were monthly transfers of $5,000 to $15,000 to an account belonging to Rick Peterson. Asterisk, the transfer started 2 months after Dad's funeral and continued for 18 months until the account was empty. Asterisk, photocopies of casino credit applications in Rick's name. Asterisk, screenshots of Rick's online gambling accounts showing hundreds of thousands in losses. Asterisk a folder labeled insurance policy, 500K, with documents I'd never seen before. My blood ran cold as I read through everything. Rick hadn't lost my money in bad investments. He'd stolen it to fund his gambling addiction. But that wasn't even the worst part. The insurance policy document showed that Dad had a $500,000 life insurance policy that I'd never heard about. According to the paperwork, Rick was supposed to use this money to pay for my college and set up a trust fund for my future. Rick had collected $500,000 when Dad died. He'd used my $180,000 college fund to cover his gambling debts, then pocketed the insurance money. I'd borrowed $120,000 for college while my uncle sat on $500,000 that was supposed to be mine. I photocopied everything and drove straight to a lawyer's office. This is embezzlement and fraud, Attorney Sarah Chun told me after reviewing the documents. Your uncle stole your inheritance and lied about it for 8 years. We can prosecute him criminally and sue him civilly. How much can we recover? With interest and penalties? Probably close to $1 million. Plus his assets if he can't pay. That evening, I called Rick and asked him to meet me for dinner. I want to give him one chance to come clean. How's the student loan situation? He asked over steaks at his favorite restaurant. Must be tough paying all that back. Actually, that's what I want to talk about. I found some interesting documents while cleaning out Dad's office. Rick's fork stopped halfway to his mouth. Oh, what kind of documents? I pulled out Dad's note and placed it on the table. Rick went completely white. Tommy, I can explain. Can you explain why you stole $180,000 from my college fund to pay your gambling debts? It wasn't like that. I was going to pay it back. Can you explain why you never told me about the $500,000 life insurance policy? Rick's hands started shaking. You weren't supposed to find that. So you admit it? You stole my college fund and kept my inheritance. He looked around the restaurant desperately, as if someone might save him. I had some financial problems. The business was struggling. I just needed to borrow the money temporarily. For 8 years? While I ate ramen noodles and worked 3 jobs. I was going to tell you eventually, when, after I finished paying off the student loans for the education that was supposed to be free. Rick tried to grab my hand across the table. Tommy, please. I'm family. We can work this out. I stood up and dropped a business card on the table. Call my lawyer. You have 48 hours to return every penny with interest, or we're filing criminal charges. I walked out, leaving Rick staring at the business card with his mouth hanging open. 2 days later, Rick's lawyer called mine. My client is prepared to settle, he said. We'd like to avoid any criminal prosecution. The settlement negotiations revealed just how deep Rick's deception went. He'd been embezzling money from his own business to cover gambling losses. My college fund was just the beginning. He owed the IRS $300,000 in back taxes. His house was mortgaged to the limit. His car dealerships were failing. Rick was completely broke, but he had insurance policies and business assets we could seize. The final settlement was $1.2 million. My original college fund, plus the life insurance money, plus interest, plus damages for emotional distress and lost opportunities. Rick had to sell his house, liquidate his businesses, and declare bankruptcy. Everything he'd built over 30 years was gone. The local newspaper picked up the story. Local businessman charged with embezzling nephew's college fund. The whole town found out that Rick Peterson, the successful car dealer everyone respected, was actually a gambling addict who'd stolen from his dead brother's son. His wife divorced him. His children stopped speaking to him. His business partners sued him. The community that had looked up to him turned their backs. Rick called me one last time before the criminal sentencing. I never meant for it to go this far, he said. I really was going to pay you back. When, Rick? When were you going to pay back the money you spent on slot machines and poker tables? I had a problem. I was sick. Gambling addiction is a real disease. And lying to me for 8 years? What disease is that? He had no answer. Rick was sentenced to 3 years in prison for embezzlement and fraud. The judge said that stealing from a grieving teenager was particularly despicable and showed a complete lack of moral character. With the settlement money, I paid off my student loans immediately. I bought a house. I started an investment account. I even donated $50,000 to a scholarship fund for kids who lost their parents young. But the best part was the trust fund I established in Dad's name. Every year, it provides full college scholarships to 5 local students whose parents died unexpectedly. The scholarship application asks one simple question: how do you plan to honor your parents' memory through your education? Last week, I got a call from Mom. Rick's getting out of prison next month, she said. He wants to know if he can see you. He says he's gotten help for his gambling problem. What did you tell him? I told him that when he stole your future, he lost the right to be part of it. Rick thought he was stealing from a naive kid who'd never find out the truth. He didn't realize he was stealing from someone who'd inherited his father's careful attention to detail and stubborn refusal to give up. Dad always told me to check my word twice and trust, but verify. It took me 8 years, but I finally applied that lesson to the most important equation of my life. The math was simple. Rick owed me everything, and I collected every penny. Some people think family means you forgive anything. I learned that real family means protecting the people who can't protect themselves, even if you have to wait 8 years to do it.